And then when Trump gets in, it'll get even crazier. Okay, so there is a multinational banking cartel that has established the skeletal workings and is now putting in the organs, the sinew, the muscle, the brains of a planetary system, a planetary government. It's very authoritarian, anti-free market, extremely technocratic and draconian in their own words. And so they're pulling out every stop they've got to try to keep Trump from getting in, from starting wars, to claiming he's a Russian agent, to preparing the public's mind to the fact that there's going to be a power outage taking place on the East Coast. And then when that does happen, it's the Russians that are behind it. Clearly the fake story put out on Friday by the Washington Post that the Russians had tried to bring down the East Coast grid starting in Vermont is to prepare the mind for that. Matt Bracken, former Navy SEAL, author, researcher, journalist, joined us last week to predict this would be the type of false flag they would run. He joins us at the bottom of the next hour and will be hosting himself the fourth hour via Skype. Now, this just broke. It's up on Infowars.com. It's up on DrudgeReport.com. Obama still could force Merrick Garland onto the court during intersession recess. So, no president's ever done stuff like this, but they're talking about with 17 days left, trying to force a new individual onto the Supreme Court to create a giant train wreck. Well, I tell you, I'd sure love to see Judge Andrew Napolitano be nominated. And I'd like to hear Trump come out, and if not Napolitano, say, hey, here's a few of the judges I think are best, and the American people have spoken. They've repudiated you. 900 House seats lost in the states, a whole bunch of seats lost in the Senate and the House, a whole bunch of governors lost. The people don't want your system. You don't have a mandate. And so I am nominating, so everybody knows who I'm going to officially nominate in 17 days, who I think should be on the court. And I think Congress should reject this individual Obama is trying to put on. President Obama will have one last chance to force Judge Merrick Garland onto the U.S. Supreme Court tomorrow, but it's a legal gamble and one that has so many pitfalls that even those who say you could get away with it believe it isn't worth the fight. Mr. Obama's moment will come just before noon in the 5 minutes that the Senate gavels the 114th Congress out of session, and the time for the 115th Congress begins. So you'd have to block the new Congress beginning and try to extend 2016 via a time warp into the future. And see, with 17 days left, you're going to see more crazy stuff every day. It's going to be a roller coaster every day. And then when Trump gets in, it'll get even crazier. Because this is a real war for America, and a war for England, and a war for Europe, and a war for Russia, and a war for sovereignty worldwide. It's going to get crazy. We'll be lucky if there isn't a nuclear war in the next few years. The globalists are pulling out every stop. In those few moments, the Senate will go into what's known as the intersession recess, creating one golden moment when the president could test his recess appointment powers by sending Judge Garland to the high court. A smattering of activists, he asked him to give it a try, but Mr. Obama has given no indication that he's thinking about it. The White House didn't respond to requests for comment on the story. Yeah, just like the White House and Hillary weren't behind the people that were trying to get the faithless electors to turn against Trump. And just like they weren't behind the recount and Jill Stein. And just like they weren't behind the Democratic Party killing the nomination for Bernie Sanders. They're going for broke. Now, let me give you the chilling news that was given to me during the last break. It's going up on Infowars.com right now. It's from the amazing folks, I got to say. Zero Hedge is really hardcore, and I never see hardly anything on there I disagree with. Zero Hedge, whoever runs it, no one knows, by the way. Talk about other secret, even more reclusive than Drudge. No one knows. It's formerly some big top broker and a group of people that know what's going on, insiders. I'd say U.S. intelligence agency people, I don't know. But look at this. And again, whether you love Netanyahu or hate Netanyahu, Israel has done things politically that aren't anything compared to other people in the region. Why are they held to a higher standard? That's my only issue. I try to be fair here. They're surrounded by people that want to kill them, who say they want to overthrow them. They're supposed to have a one-state or a two-state and open the borders up to a bunch of people that have basically gone there, just like Syria got invaded by a bunch of globalists in the last 5 years, a bunch of Islamists that wanted to take it over. Those aren't Syrian refugees coming into Europe. They're people that got their butt kicked out of the country. Turkey admits that. That's why 80% of them are military-age men who have fake Syrian passports. They're Pakistani. They're Muslims from India. They're Muslims from all over the world, from the United States, from England, but mainly from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Pakistan, you name it. Israel police enter Netanyahu's home for questioning over corruption allegations. The globalists are moving. You don't think Obama had come out and have the UN vote to basically say Israel's illegitimate. And now they say they've got that new resolution ready, an actual one saying that Israel's illegitimate and it should be overturned. The UN's already voted on that before. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what I said last week. I said, if they kill Netanyahu or something, you know World War III is about to happen. Well, here it is. And I told you they're really thinking about arresting Trump. They're really thinking about false. Remember all those rape charges and pedophile charges that were always fake names and were never true and all got dropped as soon as he won? Claiming Jerry Epstein connections to him when it was really to Clinton and Hillary. See, everything they're doing, they say we're doing. So now, this is Zero Hedge. Israeli police enter Netanyahu's home for questioning over corruption allegation. Boy, you talk about canary in the coal mine. The globalists wouldn't move against Netanyahu, as WikiLeaks shows they're planning to do via Soros, if they weren't planning to have people ready to imprison him or kill him if he starts trying to spill the beans on stuff. Because Netanyahu's been involved in everything. Good, bad, ugly, you name it. And if they move against Netanyahu, that means they're moving against Trump. Bet your bottom buck. Woo! I mean, this is incredible. Just red alert, red alert, red alert. This is getting crazy. This is so freaking out of control. It's time to pray. Our Heavenly Father, please help us open our eyes. Please help us be good. We're so sorry for all the abortions and all the evil in our name. Please protect the children. Please reprieve us if it's in your will. Please somehow stop the evil forces that are trying to stop this miracle that you've given us. Please help there be peace in the Middle East. Please stop those who are trying to overthrow Israel and start World War III and bring in Armageddon. Please give us a reprieve like Nineveh so that we have time to wake people up and reach out to those that are still in darkness and deceived. Please, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, lead, guide, and direct us. Amen. And I don't do that for show, folks. I don't even want to be here. I am so upset right now that my head is burning. I am sweating, even though it's like 65 degrees in here. I am so pissed. And so I shouldn't be on air. I'm going to start cussing. Please, God, give me the strength. They're going to start nuclear war. They're pure evil. They're completely out of control. And they're moving on every front. And regardless of what you think about Netanyahu or Trump, the globalists know they're nationalist. There's a nationalist allies organization forming from Japan to Israel to the United States to the UK to Russia. A lot of these groups are formerly enemies, but they understand the globalists don't want prosperity. And there's a move worldwide to get back to prosperity. These governments don't want to have people poor on average. But it's the globalist plan, and people are sick of it. Globalism is horrible for the average person. It's horrible for the average elite. They don't want to see people poor and things falling apart. Kingpins, even corrupt kingpins, want to sit up on top big, powerful, massive systems. They don't want to see enslavement. They don't want to see the public losing everything. Even the most corrupt Roman emperors wanted prosperity. It was only the occasional psychopath that wanted to kill everybody and make everybody poor, and those people usually got their throats slit or poisoned. We have the worst type of psychopaths that want us to be poor, that want us to be desperate, who get off on it. Really evil people in control. And the whole world's saying no. And now Benjamin Netanyahu, they're looking at arresting him and throwing him in prison. And you know what that means? The minute they take down Netanyahu, they're going after Trump. So, hey, all of you that wanted to live under globalist Islamic rule, all of you that hate Jews, you're about to get a big, juicy taste if the globalists win of what it's going to be like being under Saudi Arabia and Communist China, politically calling the shots to the Democrats, who've openly made deals to sell us out to them. Oh, and then have weirdo Nazi collaborators like George Soros, who's Jewish, sitting over it. So you know, get your anti-Semitism straight there. You got this evil Dr. Evil over here running this whole takeover who's Jewish, and they're about to get rid of the Jewish state. So just enjoy yourselves. You got to taste rounding up Jews in World War II. It just is so delicious. Little Soros, he just can't stop. And it's all in the WikiLeaks. And you know what? The Jews haven't done anything to stop him. Hell, half the Jews are liberals, love George Soros. So, hey, just have whatever you want, dumbasses. We'll be back with the rest on the police going after Netanyahu. They're clearly trying to overthrow Israel. They're clearly trying to overthrow Trump, who is an attempt by the people, but also patriots in our government, to reestablish just emergency life support on America because our country has been taken over. These are epic, legendary, incredibly historic, dangerous times we're living in. We are in the middle of World War III. Now, the Pentagon called World War III the Cold War, and they said World War IV will be fought with cyber war, political movements, riots, you name it, economic warfare. And we're now in that with the globalists playing countries off against each other. The nation states understand this and have decided to band together to try to bring prosperity back and are being blocked. Now, what made the nation states finally decide to come together and defeat globalism was when the globalists openly allied with radical Islam and communist China to double-cross the West. Our intelligence agencies are far from perfect. They're very corrupt. But when they finally saw the true endgame, that it was a true betrayal of America and the West, not some global government where we balance power with Asia, they said, you know what, we're not doing this. Now, I've talked to the highest levels of our government. But before I talked to the highest levels of our government, I talked to top generals, top colonels, top people in media, you name it, over the years. You've heard many of them here, from Matt Drudge to you name it. But it's not like I'm even communicating with them and they're communicating with me. We all see the same threat. We all know who the globalists are. We can read their books. The globalists are very honest about this in their own academic literature. They lie to the public, but academically, it's like Gruber getting up on C-SPAN and going, thank God the public's so dumb. I was hired to come up with a lie to triple prices. And thank God they have no attention span. He was with academics on C-SPAN, a bunch of other professors with a bunch of graduate students learning how to be liars so they can get jobs in the government. So, see, it's very bipolar because, or schizophrenic, because they'll deny it all to the public, but then intellectually and academically admit the whole thing. So, turns out I even missed this. And folks, I can't keep track of all of it. I told the crew, give me sources. Well, it's RT. It's the Times of Israel last week. It's not just Zero Hedge. They reported last week that he was going to be questioned in 2 criminal probes. And now the police raided his house this morning, Benjamin Netanyahu. Netanyahu to be questioned in 2 separate criminal probes. That's RT. Again, I've got Times of Israel reporting that police are calling on Israeli Attorney General to allow them to open a full criminal investigation against Prime Minister Netanyahu. Again, that was last week. Now today, they've raided his house. So you've got, look, Obama wouldn't have moved against Israel last week if he didn't have operatives in the Israeli government who at least believe they're going to be able to stop Netanyahu and Trump. And that's what I'm saying. Listen to me so carefully. This is the big enchilada. They're currently moving against Trump and Israel. They're currently moving against the UK with Brexit. They're currently moving against every nationalist movement, hardcore with illegal measures. The globalists are intending to stage a coup against the people's will and to start a war if they have to, or even kill Trump and Netanyahu and you name it, to keep their world government project afloat. We are in the middle of the greatest crisis humanity has ever seen. And just like in France, every time some nationalist is about to win, they indict him. And they're doing the same thing here. Or in the Netherlands, the guy that's #1 in the polls, who's a nationalist, they've indicted him and convicted him 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So it's on, folks. This is crazy. So look, this means there's a civil war brewing in Israel. There's an ongoing civil war happening here. And Israel has sources and forces inside of it that want to merge with the Arabs and the Palestinians and commit suicide. And again, it's all in the WikiLeaks that Soros was planning this 5 years ago, 2 years ago, and just 6 months ago. This is a worldwide destabilization world government program with Soros, the Rothschilds, and the Rockefellers bringing in this program. And people say, oh, well, the Rothschilds helped found Israel. That was 70 years ago, folks. The Rothschilds currently are using Israel as a detonator to bring in a Mideast war. The Rothschilds are heavily involved in all this. Now, they're a very diverse family. It's a big family. But the big ones, Lord Rothschild and others, are as evil as the day is long. This is the exact kind of crap they like to do. Have his dad give birth to Israel, then blow it up 70 years later. And out of this comes their big world government because the war will be so horrible, we have to accept the Luciferian age. This is big stuff. You know, Aleister Crowley reportedly sacrificed his own son. When you get into Satanism, betrayal of your own family is the top final thing to do. So, Israel, you better watch your butt, and the United States better as well. Israeli police entered Netanyahu's home for questioning over corruption allegations. As the Obama administration shunned Israel last week, we warned that police were calling on Israeli Attorney General to allow them to open a full criminal investigation of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Today, as Channel 2 reports, Israel police entered Bibi's home for questioning. The Prime Minister was quick to react, blasting, "Don't celebrate too soon" over corruption probe. And then it gets into all of it. This is a major move against the West by the globalists. Now, what I'm announcing here today is already a custom here in the United States, and that is extending the Christmas holiday up until New Year's Eve, and then taking down the Christmas trees and taking down the Christmas lights. Ooh, I keep saying Christmas. I'm so politically incorrect. The day after New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. And so I've decided right through New Year's Day, we're going to keep the virtual Christmas tree, or an HD video shot of downtown Austin at the Capitol, of the beautiful Christmas tree up just to upset the social justice warriors and all the little snowflakes that want to bully us into banning our culture and banning free speech. In fact, there's a war going on, not just online, but in the streets. I've seen it, where people on the hike and bike trail say Merry Christmas, and then folks don't respond and they say Happy Holidays, or even family I have that I send the message of Merry Christmas to, they respond back with Happy Holidays. It is some distant cousins, but it's going on. But we're also going to extend the Christmas sale right through until New Year's Eve, until everything sells out at InfoWarsStore.com. Now, we normally try to budget things to where in the warehouse, most of the products sell out by year end and the new products come in a few weeks or a month after, because we have to pay taxes on inventory. And this year, I've decided to extend the sale until everything completely sells out. So to be clear, almost every one of our best-selling nutraceutical supplements is selling out, and for a good reason, because here are the specials that we're running until they sell out or until the new year comes here in just about 4 or 5 days. Living Defense, 30% off. Super Male Vitality, 30% off. These are huge specials. Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver, 50% off. Brain Force Plus, 33% off. Winter Sun Vitamin D, 25% off. And again, a lot of these are selling out as we speak or have sold out. Survival Shield X2, 30% off. BioTrue Selenium, 30% off. And then let me finish up with this, the coup de grace. Store-wide free shipping until New Year's Day, store-wide at InfoWarsStore.com. on the non-GMO heirloom seeds and the Trump is my president shirts and Hillary for Prison 2017 shirts and deport George Soros, the Goblin Globalist specials. Store-wide free shipping, 50 to 30% off on scores of items, and all of these are super high-quality products. They help fund the spearhead in the fight against the globalists, and they are game changers. We couldn't have built this operation without you. So you're not standing beside us or behind us. You are standing at the heart of the rebellion against globalism. We are American restorationists trying to restore our republic and make it great again and free again and safe again and prosperous again. And we're doing it the old-fashioned way with free markets and with amazing high-quality products. So I certainly hope and pray you had a blessed and Merry Christmas, and I'm really focusing and working hard to make sure we have a great new year as Americanism, not globalism, accelerates into the future. So again, I want to encourage you all, take advantage of the biggest sales of 2016 with Christmas sales extended with free shipping store-wide and 50 to 30% off on high-quality supplements and many other items at InfoWarsStore.com and InfoWarsLife.com. I'm Alex Jones, signing off from the Central Texas News Center in Austin.
Go to InfoWarsStore.com today for 30 to 50% off specials while supplies last, plus free shipping, or call 1-888-253-3139.
You're going to see more crazy stuff every day. It's going to be a roller coaster every day. And then when Trump gets in, it'll get even crazier. Okay, so there is a multinational banking cartel that has established the skeletal workings and is now putting in the organs, the sinew, the muscle, the brains of a planetary system, a planetary government. It's very authoritarian, anti-free market, extremely technocratic and draconian in their own words. And so they're pulling out every stop they've got to try to keep Trump from getting in, from starting wars, to claiming he's a Russian agent, to preparing the public's mind to the fact that there's going to be a power outage taking place on the East Coast, and that when that does happen, it's the Russians that are behind it. Clearly, the fake story put out on Friday by the Washington Post that the Russians had tried to bring down the East Coast grid starting in Vermont is to prepare the mind for that. Matt Bracken, former Navy SEAL, author, researcher, journalist, joined us last week to predict this would be the type of false flag they would run. He joins us at the bottom of the next hour and will be hosting himself the 4th hour via Skype. Now, this just broke. It's up on Infowars.com. It's up on DrudgeReport.com. Obama still could force Merrick Garland onto the court during intersession recess. So, no president's ever done stuff like this, but they're talking about with 17 days left, trying to force a new individual onto the Supreme Court to create a giant train wreck. Well, I tell you, I'd sure love to see Judge Andrew Napolitano be nominated. And I'd like to hear Trump come out and if not Napolitano, say, hey, here's a few of the judges I think are best, and the American people have spoken. They've repudiated you. 900 House seats lost in the states, whole bunch of seats lost in the Senate and the House, whole bunch of governors lost. The people don't want your system. You don't have a mandate. And so I am nominating, so everybody knows who I'm going to officially nominate in 17 days, who I think should be on the court. And I think Congress should reject this individual Obama is trying to put on. President Obama will have one last chance to force Judge Merrick Garland onto the U.S. Supreme Court tomorrow but it's a legal gamble and one that has so many pitfalls that even those who say you could get away with it believe it isn't worth the fight. Mr. Obama's moment will come just before noon in the 5 minutes that the Senate gavels the 114th Congress out of session, and the time